appreciate being able to talk with the group today. A little bit about me real quick. I've got a civil engineering degree. I've been in the construction and design industry for about 20 years. Spent about a dozen years on the construction management side, then transitioned over to the owner side. Been on the owner side for about 5 years. Spent about 8 years, about 5 years working directly for a health system here in Lansing. The first couple of years I was there, worked as a project manager, and then transitioned over to the facility management side. And for the last 3 years, I've been working with as a program manager with Kramer Management Group, working as an owner representative for McLaren, working on a replacement hospital here in Lansing that many of you probably are familiar with. When I got asked to to come talk here, I started thinking back. When was the first time that I was introduced to BIM and what that looked like? So, I believe it was back in about the mid 2000s. Started with just basic clash detection when I was working as a construction manager. And advanced from there. When did I start seeing some more advanced BIM usage? Back sometime around 2010, worked on a project up in Traverse City, built a new air traffic control tower. Actually worked on that project with Art, who's going to be one of our speakers here a little bit later. So we kind of took that to the next level, utilized BIM for prefabrication and also for some scheduling logistics. And then moving forward, during my time at Sparrow here in Lansing in roughly 2017, started experimenting with BIM for FM, populating the model with some intelligence for the assets. I actually left there to come work on the current project I'm working on now, prior to getting that completely rolled out. So, I'm not sure that they, that ever really took flight. And talking to a lot of different owners and owners groups throughout the healthcare industry, I'm not real sure how many owners have really gotten their arms around BIM for FM yet. So I think that's still trying to find its way. See what it wants to be when it grows up. But as far as an owner's perspective, having lived on the CM side and then moved over to the owner side, there's not a chance I'd do a project without it. Every project, I require that of our contractors. Wouldn't even think of hiring a contractor that isn't interested in it, that doesn't require it. We've heard from our first couple of speakers about some of the benefits of it. So just wanted to, that's kind of a background from where I'm at, where I came from. Wanted to just real quick share a couple of case studies from the replacement hospital we're working on here in Lansing. First slide, I've got just a couple of slides here, and I apologize. Some of these slides I would have made a little bigger, made a few of these pictures a little bigger. I was kind of thinking we were limiting ourselves to a few less slides, but after the presentation here in the breakout room, if anybody wants to talk further or talk offline, I definitely could share these with you. But everybody can imagine, those of us that have worked in healthcare, a lot of us probably have the complexity of the systems, the level of coordination. Just got a couple of basic BIM screenshots here on the screen of clash detection for systems in the central utility plant. The bottom left that you're looking at is an OR suite, OR floor. You can see how much is going on in that picture. So one of the case studies I wanted to look at was on this project. We were able to utilize multi-trade corridor racks, prefabricated multi-trade corridor racks. We built them right here in a warehouse in Lansing, and then brought them out to site, hoisted them into place. I could go on for quite a while about prefabrication, which is not why we're here, but talking about the BIM aspect of it. So we, on this particular project here, we were able to, harness the power of some really strong contractors in their VDC departments. The construction manager on this project is a joint venture of Barton Mallow and Chrisman. Both have incredibly robust VDC teams. The design team was a joint venture of Harley Ellis and Gresham Smith, again, two of the powerhouses in the industry. And then some of our trade contractors, we had Limbach Mechanical, Shaw Electric, and Castay Steel, again, all people that are familiar with design assist and heavy BIM coordination projects. So we started with the upper left hand picture that you see, and also the upper right hand picture are simply a model, BIM model that we built through the design. With these corridor racks, you not only have all the MEP components, but then you need a framework, a structure to hold these during the prefabrication, during the transportation, during the installation. It becomes part of the permanent system. So that's just one more piece to coordinate and work around. These walls, and then the center picture there is actually one of them that's installed. So you can see kind of what the final product looked like. We also built the top sections of both sides of the corridor wall right along with this rack in the fab shop and brought it out. So there's another component of the coordination piece of it. You can kind of see in there where these racks, they had to slip up around around beams, structural steel beams, fit into place. So there's a large BIM component there, but the piece that I really think we took it to the next level is the bottom two pictures. What you're looking at is, once we got the design done, once we got the modeling done, we used augmented reality to bring these, essentially bring these to life. And really the title of my presentation here is Design Validation with the Use of Modeling. We were able to get these, bring these in. Again, Barton Allen Chrisman's VDC team was able to come set up in our office. So if you look at those pictures, if you look close, you see all the modeling components, but you also see in the background kind of office space, right? You see windows, doors. That's actually an office. It's our project office out here on site, and then we were able to put on augmented or virtual reality glasses, and this is what you were looking at. You were seeing that model. They set the model up to where it was roughly projected at about 5 foot above finished floor. So as the average height person is walking around with those glasses on, your head is right up in there in the model. So it gave us the opportunity to get in that, really get inside the rack. We invited maintenance staff out, maintenance managers. They came out, they got in there, they're moving around in there, thinking about things like how they get access to VAVs, where are dampers, where are valves, can we access those, and actually being immersed in that, we found some stuff that we were able to change before we got out there and built it. Relocated dampers, relocated some valves, move some stuff around because we didn't have room to get up between the structure and duct work up to a VAV, for instance. So we found things that we were able to correct during the design, during the modeling, before we built any of these racks and brought them out to site. Stuff that we may not have found during construction, may not have found it until the day that the maintenance tech, years down the road, tried to get to a valve and couldn't reach it. So, there was this was a big win for us. Again, we got a lot of VDC horsepower on this team, so this was something that we were able to bring to the team, very valuable, and I think this is kind of next level, where if a lot of contractors could get here, whether that's in-house or with the help of consultants, provides a lot of value. Moving on to the next case study, design validation for operating rooms. So Laura talked to us earlier, mentioned about use of models for mock-ups. We've probably all built mock-ups for a project. It's pretty easy when you're just building a room that's maybe it's a patient hospital room. You can build that, just a square room. You can build it out of cardboard, styrofoam, hard wall, whatever you want to do there. But when you get into something more complicated like an operating room, There's a lot going on in there. There's ceiling mounted booms. There's a lot of wall mounted equipment. It takes up a large area. It'd be difficult and pricey to actually build a physical mock-up. So, we decided let's do a virtual mock-up with that. Just pulled it out of the model. We had an equipment planner on this project, IMEG, that we worked with, that also, they worked in the model. So this isn't just our trades, not just MEP trades. We also had other consultants working there. Our equipment planning consultant, our technology consultant worked in that same model, and they populated all the medical equipment in there. So on the bottom left picture there, you can see our model, with all the architectural components in there, walls, and really what you're seeing the most of is medical equipment. See the OR bed right there in the foreground. See the booms overhead. See the monitors on the wall. So it's a combination of medical equipment and technology there that we put in the model. So as we invited, we invited staff through this. We took it over, actually took it to took our virtual reality setup to the existing hospital, set up in a conference room, invited staff to come look at it. Some of the pictures that you see here. So the bottom right picture there, you see that's one of the VDC guys from Bart Mallow that's got the headset on in the back of the picture, and he's actually looking around the room. So once you put those goggles on, you're immersed in that room, and he's looking around the room, and that's 3 nurses that you see there that are looking at that, and then they're looking at it on the screen. You see the small screen sitting on the table there that you see, and bottom left picture is just a close-up view of what's on the screen. We had some staff, like the nurse in the upper left-hand corner. She wanted to put it on, so put the goggles on and get in there herself. And you got the little kind of joysticks that you toggle around in each hand. It's a little difficult to navigate sometimes, depending on what your the younger generation, people that video gamers, they can get around in there no problem. Some others didn't feel comfortable, so that's why we had some of the VDC guys drive, and they just watched. But we found a lot of good stuff in there too, and it wasn't just nursing. It was we had surgeons come through, we had infection prevention people come through, leadership. We actually had some of the foundation board members. So the people that are out there raising money for this project came through and kind of use this as a sales tool even. Stuff that we found in there. We found pieces of equipment, that when nursing got there, they're like, hey, this is on the wrong side of the room. Let's move this over. And keep in mind, this is after we went through your typical design review, design meetings, several series of design meetings where we looked at it in 2 dimensions on paper, but these are healthcare people. They don't necessarily know what they're looking at, or don't understand what they're looking at in 2 dimensions. So we bring it to them in 3 dimensions. That's when they started kind of getting the feel for what the room was, and when they could get in there and actually virtually walk around, located things that they wanted to move. We relocated lighting controls, because they walked into the room through the door and said, well, how come the lighting controls aren't here? Well, they're on the other side of the room. All right, let's move them over. Our infection prevention specialist identified the fact that hey, there's a piece of equipment there that I don't see a low wall return air grill behind it. We need to be pulling the air away from that and getting it out of there. Just a lot of details like that that we were able to vet out, again, long before we ever constructed anything. It's easy to make the changes when it's just a model or design. We use this same procedure. We looked at endoscopy rooms, trauma rooms, so ED trauma rooms. There's a lot going on in there. That'd be difficult to mock those up. And we're getting ready to use the same process for our new cancer center for our infusion bays. But, So that's just a couple of things that a couple quick case studies I wanted to share with the group. We're, like I said, we're blessed to have some very talented high-power VDC teams on our project, but what they're proving is when we're using Revit, when we're using the BIM 360, when everybody's collaborating in the same model, this stuff is not hard to do. It doesn't even really take a lot of expensive equipment. These VR goggles and that kind of thing are not overly pricey. So I'd really think that we can share these case studies, share the success of these, and hopefully a lot of people start to pick up on this.